podcasts over at wildgamesproductions.com and DetroitRadio.com. They came from the game table, dice bags in hand.
We have one brain that we share between us.
To talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you'll like it.
The original and basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
Barksdale, that too.
Yeah. All this stuff, D&D is the daddy. Hi, folks. THACO's Hammer here, number 62. Thank you. 62, and this is DM Glen, of course, in the big frozen house. And we also have with me DM Brian, who's probably warmer than me. Hi, Brian.
Warm in a bad way because, well, I tried to play basketball like I was 25. Instead I'm 44, and, well, you know the rest. But, hi, folks. How you doing?
Hey, Ope Gangnam style. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I wish.
And Mr. DM Full-On Gamer, who is, like, really hyper to be here today.
Hey, Gamer Nation, how are you doing? Greetings, and we're back again with more THACO's Hammer. Yeah, I'm a little still jazzed and buzzed because we got done with another PT test today for the company, so I got to do another one of my live play, role play tests of how much the movement rate is for an unencumbered character attempting to do a force march.
Oh, boy.
That's actually fairly fast.
Yeah.
Hey, 2.5 miles, 29 minutes, and 2 seconds.
Wow.
Got to break that down a little further.
Yeah. And also, we have with us the Perry Como of the OSR, DM Corey.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to THACO's Hammer. My drink is half empty, but my books are always open.
I didn't say Barry White.
No, I didn't do Barry White because there wasn't no sex music in the background. You know.
Oh, okay. Roll them dice, baby.
Listen, Jack.
Wow. I'm not touching this one.
That wasn't a lich. That was a panther.
All right. Let's go to hits and grits before we get in trouble.
What are you doing tonight? I don't know. What are you doing tonight? The burlesque Louie's Paradise. Miserable and lonely and stupid. What am I, crazy or something? I got something good here. What am I hanging around with you guys for?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. All right, Mr. Como, what are you doing this week in gaming?
Working on a new campaign. I scared everybody, and they don't want to go back to Ravenshold. The two paladins have decided to go to the outer town where they got accused of being the fault of getting the 4 children murdered. So they decided as penance they're going to build a temple to their respective god and help as a waypoint for further adventures. I think I've literally scared the 2 paladins into retirement. So everybody else has decided they don't want to play those characters in there because it's not going to be fun without paladins that can help protect them. So we're starting a new campaign.
Really?
What?
Corey, you turned your campaign into a house of horrors. What do you expect?
No. I didn't turn my campaign into a house of horrors. The 2 paladins go, what is the scar on this nation's land? The evil town of Ravenshold. Let us destroy it. They turned my campaign into a house of horrors. I didn't drive them to the front door. They walked upon their own. There's a beautiful wide open countryside that I call the Wild Reach in my campaign. They're welcome to go adventure out there. No, they wanted to go to the scary house at the end of the block. Not my fault.
What do you expect? They're paladins.
Yeah.
Hey, there's other evil that you may survive in my world. You don't have to go, flicking the testes of the dragon. You don't do that at level 4. You move on to find something else.
Oh, you should have described it as there is a swirling miasma of evil throughout the land that is collecting in this place of great darkness. You should unend the source of power, stretch apart their connections to the source. Then you can go in and crush them after you've leveled up an ass ton.
I've had to have the cleric and the ranger both looking for herbs and rolling healing checks due to the headaches that the evil was causing the paladins, pain behind the eyes because as they were getting closer. But they ignored it anyway, so I'm like, hey, you want to stick, dangle your diddly bits.
Hey,
what?
What level are the paladins?
As of right now, when they retired, level 8 and level 9.
All right, you expect them to go on? You expect them to go on the land on the bunny slopes?
No, I expect them to go do something more safe than to a land that essentially no one's been able to clear out for a couple centuries. And they're like, oh, we can do it. Let's do it. We're level 5.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
We're level 5.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's tomato time, folks.
Yeah,
so,
well, Corey, see, that's the thing. Corey didn't kill the characters. He killed the players' will to see something through to the end.
Yes.
That's what he did.
And what
I like to say that go ahead.
What did you say?
No,
go ahead.
I just say I scared their dice back into their dice bag. That's all I did.
I think my own dice just went up in my body.
Shrinkage? Dice shrinkage? What?
I was in the pool.
Okay. How have you been killing people? I mean, how have you been dealing with the last week or so?
Oh, well, I haven't killed anybody yet. Although Corey, being the daredevil he is, he almost got himself killed. That had been the first death I've had in a long time, actually.
And I'm spoiling for it, right?
Fame does not come to those who hide behind the cleric.
Then there's that.
Fame also does not go to the mage that doesn't want to step up and fling spell 1.
And I hold my tongue because that's the DM's NPC.
Exactly. It's one of those things where he makes a judgment call. You guys have it well in hand. If people started getting seriously hurt, that's when he would start throwing spells. He's a mage. He's smart. He conserves his power.
Ladies and gentlemen, quote of that game.
Hold it.
When people start getting seriously hurt, it's too late for him to make a decision. He should make it so his decision should be to prevent people from getting hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, the quote of that game that night was the half-orc shouting back, the half-orc with the rapier shouting back, "We could use a fireball!" The wizard nonchalantly goes,
I'm not high enough in level.
If I had it.
If I had it.
What?
Oh, man. That would have...
I thought the quote of the game was, "I have no time to seduce the dogs."
Oh, God, that's right.
That's right.
And Allie made that all on her own. Yes, folks, that is session 6 of Hammers of the Duchy.
I don't care
which
what
will
you
be
say.
forthcoming once I get off my butt and get session 5 out.
I don't care what you say, Brad. That's a Julie remark.
Let's put it this way. I know Allie and I know Julie a little bit. They're a little similar. Not quite the same, but similar.
Puppies, puppies, puppies.
Oh,
my favorite.
No, they weren't kobolds.
I didn't say Liz.
Yeah.
My favorite was I go back and grab a thigh. Actually, I rip off both
Then
legs
there's that.
and I feed them to the starving dog.
Are you crazy? Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm going to have a discussion with you separately once we're done with this full on. Because I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Full on, do I dare ask?
Eating him human. I wanted to stop them from eating humans.
They weren't eating humans. You assumed they were.
Everybody gets a little knackered.
What are you, peckish? What?
Okay.
Your
All
description
right.
of the bodies bitten upon. They were eaten upon.
No, they weren't.
Yes, you are.
I never said that. I never
You said that they showed. You said that they showed that they had been bitten and partially eaten.
Not by the dogs.
All right, guys.
He didn't investigate further. He didn't investigate closely enough.
All right, we're on THACO Tamara.
Yes,
Come on.
All right, guys, save it for the game.
Okay.
Save it for the game. Do I dare ask full on what you've been doing this week besides running as you?
Army stuff. Sorry, no gaming.
Okay.
Army training, sir.
Okay, no problem. My basic game kind of got canceled because a whole bunch of us had a whole bunch of stuff we had to do. Not just me. I was busy getting on my ass drunk Friday, so I was too hungover to play the next day anyway.
Glenn,
Yes.
why were you getting drunk on Friday?
St. Patrick's Day of my life.
That's Sunday.
No, that was Sunday. No, because it's there. No. No. What
Hey, that's all you got to say.
No,
That's all you got to say.
my wife's cousins play in a band. Another one lives in D.C. He came. He dropped by for somebody's birthday, and it's like, okay, let's have a jam session in my garage, and everybody bring booze. So 4 Boilermakers later.
Nice. That's my boy.
I'm feeling kind of woozy at the next day, so it's like, are we playing? No, I'm going to take my kid to I don't know, violin practice or something, or he's going to hit a home run with it. I said, okay, fine. All right, fine. I don't need the game. I did get to play a little dungeon with a couple of my nephews, little nephews. I had Gage for a week, so we played we played a little Mutants and Masterminds. This is funny. I told us on the other show, too. He's creating his character, and on the sheet it says base of operations. We all know what that means, being comic book readers, right?
Right.
And he says, what's that? And it says, well, you know how, like, the Avengers are in New York, and Batman's in Gotham City, and all this. So where's your hero's base of operations? 9 years old, looks up at me and says, New Jersey.
Awesome.
New Jersey? How do you know? You've never been west or east of Oklahoma.
Wait a minute.
You know about
Wait a minute. This is Mutants and Masterminds, right?
Yeah.
That's perfect for Jersey.
Yeah.
Point.
It's like you've never been east of Oklahoma. How do you know about New Jersey? Okay.
Everybody knows about New Jersey. What are you talking about?
Well, especially with Jersey Shore coming out, which,
Yep.
gives a new meaning to the term juice heads, but I'll leave that as it is.
Also, I recorded
It's all South Park.
I also plugged my sister show, Save or Die. We had a nice episode last night with, via phone, Jim Ward.
Really?
Yeah.
Why wasn't I invited on this show?
Why don't you show up more often?
I will.
You were probably working.
Oh, I was
It was
working.
Sunday.
You guys do it on Saturdays. Damn you.
Yeah, we do it Sundays, and Jim was great.
Sundays?
He was like the 5th Sodcaster. It was great. He was just way cool because some nice.
You got Wampler on there now?
Yeah, Jim's number. He's the 4th Musketeer. He's the D'Artagnan.
Nice.
Oh, he's D'Artagnan?
He's D'Artagnan. Don't feed
Very
the guy.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we just about threw hazing him, so he's all right.
Yep.
And that's what I've been doing. Do we have any kind of emails or anything like that?
Absolutely not. The mailbox is
Okay, good night, folks.
Good night.
good. I can go back to sleep. Anyway. Yeah, come on, guys. Now, I even left a little message for Brady Webb, one of our former regular emailers, to get off his butt and send us stuff.
Wait a minute. You mean Kojo? Is he like in the hospital or something?
Something?
Yeah.
Must be.
He hasn't sent us anything.
Wow, Kojo.
It's a Kojo-less. It's a Kojo-less episode.
Yeah, people are slipping. This is not good.
No Kojo. No Kojo.
But the good thing is that there are a lot more people, I would say, over the last 2 weeks or so who've discovered our podcast, and they're leaving us likes on Facebook, which is good.
Hey, all you people out there listening to our podcast, and I know you're doing something like driving your car, changing a diaper on your child, or breaking
stuff I don't
open
wanna
the
know
ice
about.
pack. Yeah,
something.
you hit that like button and you move on. How about you call us on our phone number and leave us a voicemail or write in an email to give us stuff to talk about? Because this shit just doesn't come from the hip. We got planning to do, so you got to give us some info here.
405.
Hey, our podcasts are interactive. We will interact with you if you interact with us.
405.
We have 4 posts.
405-826-0555. And THACOShammer@gmail.com. Sponsored by
8065.
Crown Royal, the official dice bag of the OSR.
Yes, something
Not
like that.
officially sponsored.
Unofficially sponsored.
Oh, by the way, that party I went to Friday night, I came home, I had 3 Crown Royal bags in my pocket. I wondered where the hell I got them.
Nice.
You probably just.
What was one of those real classy, big, fancy ones?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The ones with the drawstring in near the
The
middle?
one you can put an infant in.
Yeah. But, no.
Yeah.
But we are getting a puppy, so I may.
Nice.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not egg guy. Anyway, that's
just making a little puppy onesie out of it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Name the puppy Dodecahedron. He fits right in that bag with no problem whatsoever.
No,
Come here, dice bag. Come here, dice bag. Fetch.
dice bag. That's great. Oh, that's awesome. That would be great.
No, I have nothing.
Oh, that'd drive your wife right up the wall, Glenn.
Oh yeah. So, do we have any stuff from off the web or anything like that?
I've been looking, and I'm in the middle of searching as we're discussing and cracking each other up with our rather awesome sense of humor. Yeah.
Ooh,
Let's see. And going to our home page, which is OSR Gaming. Because that's like one of the few places we actually get traction from. Oh, did I say that?
Are we doing a show here? What's going on?
Yeah, something. Let's see. I got a suggestion, of course, to do Menzo Baranzan. That's something.
Yeah, I got a suggestion for that too, but I'm not going to say it on the air.
Now, Glenn.
I will take care of it, my lord. It shall be done.
It's the end of the drow as we know it. It's the end of the drought as we know it.
All right, why don't we just...
Salvatore's crying now.
But yeah, actually the latest suggestion that we had, aside from Menzo Baranzan, which we'd already talked about, we had a little discussion about... we get a lot of good compliments, but all dragons set somebody right because someone asked us to do reviews on the gold box games, and out of the four of us, I think I have the most experience, but that's 1E, not 2E. If the gold box games were 2E, they'd be a lot more awesome than they already are.
And I bet that RFI has already talked about it, and if they haven't, I'm going to put a bug in Vince's ear about it.
There you go.
The only games I could see us doing would be like Baldur's Gate, right? They were second edition, weren't they?
Yeah, Baldur's Gate. Yeah, Baldur's Gate.
Icewind Dale.
Icewind Dale. Yeah, we could do those.
Was Neverwinter Nights a...
No, that was third.
That was third? Okay.
Well, the first Neverwinter Nights was 1E, is based off the gold box game.
Well, you want to get smarty, the first Neverwinter Nights was chat-based out of AOL, but we won't go there.
How about throwing in this, the 2E PC version of Temple of Elemental Evil?
There wasn't a 2E version. It was third edition.
Yeah, it was third edition. That
came out 2 months.
The computer.
It came out yes, sir. It came out 2 months after third edition went live, and it was already programmed to be third edition. They tried to do it backwards compatible. Some of the Circle of 8 mods and some of the guys that did a lot of modifications, they actually took that engine and built a Keep on the Borderlands mod for Temple of Elemental Evil. I have it. It's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. Well, all right.
Yeah, I really love that game. I just wish it wasn't third.
Anyway,
not that we're bashing here on THACO's Hammer, because here at THACO's Hammer we don't edition bash.
At least we try really hard not to.
We can PC computer game bash.
If we want to, sure. If it's a bad game, yeah.
I'll think about it. Anyway, let's move on to people skills.
I have none.
The face is familiar.
It's mine.
And so it is.
Oh, yes, of course. It stands out a mile, doesn't it? He's so common.
A little lady comes in here and starts throwing her butt around. What is that supposed to do?
All right, forget I said anything.
Maybe I will.
Well, that's pretty good.
Then don't tell me you weren't looking at it.
Well, that's not half bad.
She's giving it right back to you.
People skills.
People skills. Once again, we're going to dive into a splat book, the Complete Dwarves Handbook, and talk about...
Guess we're not going too deep, huh?
The Highborn Kit.
It's going to be like that tonight. Okay.
The Highborn.
Do you think they get their armor half off?
Come on now.
All right, I'm sorry. Look, don't be short with me.
Page 57.
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
I decided to come up with that with this after watching The Hobbit and watching Thorin Oakenshield do his thing.
Oh, you got Hobbit?
Huh?
Oh, you watched The Hobbit?
Yeah, I actually went to the theater. That's the last movie I've seen, The Hobbit.
I mean, and Thorin, a.k.a. Little Aragorn?
I wouldn't go that far.
He is a little emo like Aragorn. Strider.
He's a lot more emo than Aragorn was, but let's not argue that. I mean, this whole kit is basically Thorin Oakenshield stripped down to its basic form.
Yeah, he's the noble dwarf.
Yeah, something like that. And as an aside, the guy who plays Thorin Oakenshield is like in real life like 6'4", and they still made him look like he was maybe like 4'6". I was very impressed by that.
Well, look what they did with what's his name in the Captain America movie the Captain America movie when he was like Steve Rogers before he got the super soldier.
Oh yeah, the wimpy Steve Rogers. Yeah.
Yeah, they basically took a computerized him down into a 98-pound weakling.
Yeah, it's very true. And
yeah, so I'm not surprised.
Oh, excuse me. But yeah.
Which is why I have no problem with seeing, a Drizzt movie with Taz as the professional wrestler Taz as Plant.
No problem. Oh my God!
That's
Taz's not that tall to begin with. He's only like 5'8".
Right, so it wouldn't be that hard if you can do that with Thorn.
No, not at all. But getting back,
only if we can get Wee Man to be Regis.
That would be fantastic, dude. Chris Rock could pull off Drizzt.
And then Jessica Biel can be Caddy-Bree.
Oh, God.
Jessica Biel she's too curvy to be Caddy-Bree. Caddy-Bree's a little Scottish stick thing girl. Sorry.
Okay, fine. We'll get Tina Fey. I'm not Tina Fey. The other one.
Tina Fey as Sarah Palin as Caddy-Bree.
You mean the blonde one that's hanging with Tina Fey all the time?
Oh, no. Amy Poehler?
Neither. Go away entirely. Not that whole crew. Oh. I misspoke horribly.
Okay.
That's okay.
I'm thinking Bill.
Okay. That's okay. And special guest Hornswoggle as a hill giant.
I could see that.
Make a good Regis. They actually have to make it bigger, though.
Exactly. That's what computers are for.
Okay, we're way off track on this. Okay, back to the kid. Highborns are members of families who hold political power within a clan. Yeah, that's pretty much Thorin, because he was the king's son. Highborn dwarf may belong to the ruling family of a stronghold. They are able to trace their lineage back to the beginnings of time. Yeah? More Thorin. Because we found all that out in the first, 30 minutes of the movie?
Yeah, a dwarf with a stick up his butt.
Well, actually, he's towards the end.
He's a cool guy, actually.
Wasn't he the king's grandson?
Or was it grandson, or was it?
Yeah,
no, you're right. No, you're right. Grandson. You're right.
I was like, wait a minute, it's his father? Wait a minute. No, wait, that's not right. But anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, thank you. We just saved me.
Didn't mean to correct you. My bad.
You just saved me from getting messages about, oh, you idiot, Thorin's his grandson, not his son. You don't know you're talking, dude. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Anyway.
They editorialized that whole lineage anyway.
Well, they have to. Yeah, they had to. But, okay, I'm going to put my Tolkien bias aside for this. They tend to behave in an arrogant manner to other dwarves, believing their lineage makes them superior to their fellows. Yeah, that was Thorin back in the day, and before his whole world came crashing down around him, almost literally. Usually...
Dragons will do that to you.
Yeah, huge ancient red dragons will do that to you, it's true. Okay. Yeah,
by the way,
go ahead.
That's weird that you're doing this whole compare and contrast with Thorin on today, March 25th, which is Tolkien Reading Day. I just wanted to point
Are you serious?
Today, wow. March 25th.
I had no idea.
Yeah, but anyways, continue. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Highborn dwarf.
How about that?
If you really want to make him obnoxious, make him a crazy Scotsman on top of it.
Yeah, well, he'd be a lot more interesting, that's for sure. Now, that's no slam, but yeah. Well, you refuse to do a dwarf with a Scottish accent anymore, Glenn.
What do you mean anymore? I may do one yet. Roddy McStew will live.
Okay, I'll ask later. Okay, highborn dwarves are the law enforcers of a stronghold. They uphold the law in ensuring that they continue to benefit from the order of dwarf society. They expect to be admired and treated with much respect, if not subservience. Interesting. And going through this description of the kit, that's aside from everything from the Hobbit bouncing around in my head. It's like the more I went into this kit, the more I'm like, okay, that's Thorin. The next one. Highborns believe that the continuance of dwarf society rests firmly on their shoulders, and of course, knowing Thorin's history, that basically just describes his whole obsession about getting to the mountain and getting to Lonely Peak or whatever the name is. I keep forgetting.
Right.
The Lonely Mountain.
Yeah, Lonely Mountain. Thank you. And killing the dragon and
waiting for the dragon to get killed for them.
Oh, let's not spoil it.
Really, the book's been out there for how long? Really, the book's been out there for how long?
I know. I was making a movie spoiler.
Spoiler. Listen, if you follow Tolkien as just the movies, you deserve spoilers. I deserve to drive to your house, knock on the door, open up the door, and tell you what happens before the movie comes out.
And you do that when
it was his sled, and the Titanic.
I did it during the Sixth Sense.
Oh no! Let's not do that.
I did that during the Sixth Sense. I drove around out front when everybody was in line shouting on a megaphone, Bruce Willis dies when he gets shot with a gun in the beginning of the movie. Dude, I had people throwing stuff in my car. It was hilarious.
Oh, man, you are terrible. Okay.
I am.
Yeah, you are.
So the Highborn, you're going to see that he's constantly comparing the shortcomings of others to his own inflated opinions, which is how he just reinforces his, dwarfs are awesome, man! Ugh!
Yeah, exactly.
And the old Yeller gets shot in the end. Sorry.
Yeah, they have to.
Not in the end, but I mean the end of the movie.
Takes a shot in the end. Whoa!
Damn it!
He kind of walks funny.
Oh, man. I was so sad about that, but that dog is good.
He walks anyway, humping his butt now. So.
Oh. Something about sheep up against cliffs.
Oh,
anyways.
Stop it! God, why do I always have to reel you guys in from getting the explicit tag put on us? We're on iTunes, you know that, right? Anyway,
no.
Okay. Well, you know now.
That gets anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Weapon proficiencies: Highborn dwarves must take sword, hammer, and light crossbow.
I hate that must. I don't like that.
Why?
I wanted to put that out there. I don't like the fact that they're telling you what they have to take, especially for a Highborn.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's more. He's the more refined dwarf. He's not just your typical axe swinger. Things like that. Okay. Bonus.
It does say you get a last proficiency for your choice, so you're not cut off from axes.
By the way,
crossbow, sword.
Yeah,
crossbow.
This is a fighter kit. By the way, this is a warrior kit, not cleric. Although I could see this being like a cleric one. Or even
Psionicist.
Yeah, dwarf psionicist. That would be funny. Anyway, you get the bonus proficiencies of endurance that all dwarves get, etiquette, heraldry, and local dwarf history. So, I could see like a PC being like, okay, I need to go do this. Or I need to go and clear that mine out to make it more, shall I say, to save their clan or things like that.
Well, then you call up the Dwarven Army Engineers Squad.
I wouldn't have anything wrong with allowing someone to swap some of those out for like local dwarf history for ancient dwarf history or something along those lines.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Something like heraldry for dwarven, clans, clan heraldry.
Well, heraldry in general, you're going to know it all just because you got to be able to not only know all your dwarf heraldry, but you got to know all those stinky little leaf eaters and those puny, unwashed, mud brick builders trumped up on what they think they're going to be doing, how to get it to market, and who's going to actually pay.
Wow. I'd love to see you play a dwarf with that kind of attitude.
I don't like the description on the equipment either for this kit. Some about Highborn dwarves must always look their best to set an example to other dwarves. You're a dwarf, underground, under dirt.
Yeah.
What do you do? Sit in a room and do nothing?
Well, see,
I didn't need to read the Tolkien description of a hobbit hole to you, or a dwarven kingdom.
No.
To you
It's still
again?
underground. I don't care. It's
Here
underground.
we go. Well,
It's a hall. It's fitted. It's worked stone, not a pit of dirt.
And it's called
Goblin
a hall
crap.
to hold their hall.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
Educate us.
Exactly.
Go on.
I mean, when you think about, oh God, I just completely skitzed on the name. The ruined city they went through in the first movie.
The Mines of Moria.
Thank you.
Moria.
Yeah, that was a fully worked out dwarven city with the mines included.
And it was filthy.
A mine.
Yeah, because it's been abandoned
the
for
Type
hundreds
6
of years.
demon got in there.
Well, whose fault was that?
Goblins. The dwarves, as usual.
Well, still, they're dirty.
Well, you have a dwarf
Expect those.
bias, Corey.
Well, do you expect to get information out of this show? Come on, you get it for free.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. Anyway, now but I would agree because these are the ruling class amongst the dwarves, so they would be the best groomed, wearing the finest clothes, sporting the finest looking and finest functioning weapons and things like that.
We're going to throw down with the best sleeve on the bid here.
Yeah, it's a little paladin-y, just a little bit, not a lot, but, they have to start with banded armor minimum, and of course, because you need the finest weapons and armor and stuff, because you're reflecting status, of course you have to spend a lot of money.
So he's a dwarfaleer.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, Now, the benefit to the kid is that dwarves with lawful alignment, which is about, I'd say, 98.9% of dwarves, or at least the ones who have, fully functioning civilizations and so forth. Yeah, that's not Glenn's character over there. Mr. Chaotic Good. Yeah, lawful good half-orc, chaotic good dwarf, yeah.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, exactly. Dwarves of lawful alignment respect highborn dwarves and react to them with a +3 bonus. That's on top of if they have any charisma adjustments. They can demand food and shelter from other dwarves, and it's willingly provided for him and his retinue. Didn't we see a little bit of that in The Hobbit?
Oh, a
if I'm
lot
not
of that.
mistaken? Yeah.
Of course, that's the famous scene at the beginning with them all coming in and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Coming into Bilbo's house and just, as if they,
At your service.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
Good evening. Yeah.
It
looks like it might rain.
I felt, yeah, exactly. I felt so bad for frickin' Bilbo in the beginning. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is how they're gonna act? This is how they're gonna draft him into their service? Really?
Hey, did you read the book?
Yeah.
The way to a hobbit's heart is stomach and up.
Yeah, this is true. And they actually like his food. They even cleaned up his place after they were done, which was kind of interesting.
And they did my favorite song.
And then there's that.
It was like having short bearded Cat in the Hats. Yeah.
Wow. That gives me chills. Anyway, are we talking original Cat in the Hat or Mike Myers Cat in the Hat? Oh, come
on. Do we have to split hairs on this? I think people know.
I was making a joke, Glenn. I was making a joke. That's all.
Noted. He made a joke.
Thank you. And
yep.
just for
in the dwarf episode, it fell short.
Oh God. Anyway,
another.
Hindrances. Highborn dwarf may administer justice, but his decisions may be overruled by a highborn clansman of greater status. And of course, if they look good, they have to spend extra money to maintain their look. So an additional 10 to 25.
Marvelous. You got to look marvelous.
Exactly. It is better to look good than to feel good. Now, see, I used to be able to do frickin' Lammas, and I can't do it anymore. Or Billy Crystal doing Lammas. I used to be able to do it. Now they have to spend an additional 10 to 25% of what they make on goods and services just to keep themselves looking their absolute best.
You're saying these are the only dwarves who tip?
Well, make another Hobbit reference. They did pay him for cleaning out his larder, his fully stocked larder. They did do that. Anyway, if the Highborn fails to keep up his appearances, his reaction bonus drops by -1 by each occurrence until it reaches 0. Then, of course, he has to engage in what is called conspicuous consumption in order to get his level back, which means he probably has to spend even more money to do that.
Food, more food.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely replace your new suit, clothes, and equipment for yourself and your retainers at 25% above usual price, and throw a banquet for the entire clan, got 5,000 gold, with gifts to show everyone that he deserves the respect offered. Usually craft-related.
You will give me respect even if I have to spend my money myself.
Even if I have to buy it. Exactly.
Yes.
Now, non-lawfully
like the bumper sticker said, those who say that money can't buy happiness don't know where to shop.
This is true. Non-lawfully aligned dwarves tend to be irritated by the Highborn dwarves' superiority and react to them at a -3.
Is that right, Glenn?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
I could see if I had a Highborn NPC come into the game and he started pulling his crap, I could certainly see Glenn's character just basically telling him in no uncertain terms with that famous Russian accent what he can do with himself.
Yep. Hey, so Highborns is that a requirement, them being lawful?
No. I think, well, they never say specifically that they have to be lawful in alignment. But at the same time, yeah, I could see like a neutral good one. Catagood maybe not, but yeah, I would say either lawful good, lawful neutral.
Due to the fact that the Highborn role says Highborn dwarves are the law enforcers of a stronghold, I'm thinking law has to be in their alignment somewhere.
Yeah.
Whether it's a dictatorship in their clan and they're lawful evil, or they're lawful neutral or lawful good, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I just wish they had said that. And finally, Highborn dwarves are too proud for their own good. Yeah, Thorin, you are. Seeing themselves and their race as superior to all others, and other races will react to them with a -2. So yeah, I could see I could see Allie's half-elf reacting towards this. This guy has such a stick up his butt. Anyway.
Well, so folks, if you want to play a paladin without a god breathing down your neck, play one of these.
And be prepared for, the occasional dunk in the mud or the occasional,
trip by the monk.
Yeah, exactly. Occasional treatment.
So we're talking. Okay, got it. I understand. Yeah, I won't do it. Right, fine. Remind me never to play one. Remind me never to play one of these.
Well, we want to hear who has out there.
Yes, we do, actually. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Come on, people, get on the stick, please.
Please, would you?
Brian's lonely. He takes these in his room at night and turns out the lights, and we don't want to know what he does with them, but he's a lot happier when he does, so send some in.
Glenn,
what?
Can I say something in my own defense? I have a girlfriend, damn it!
I didn't say what you did with them. You can make paper airplanes. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll just wear that, and we can move on to the next segment.
Okay.
What's next?
One would think you've been doing this all your life.
We'll remember you said that.
I know. I'm sure you hate me just enough.
Rule 0.
Rule 0. When to use proficiency checks.
Thank you, Mr. Full-On. Yes, sirree. When do you use those pesky proficiency checks?
When I attack.
Take one now.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, there are some that you would need to use in combat, like that. That danger sense one that your character has, Glenn.
Okay, let me tell you something. As we've told you before, everything is optional in second edition. You want to wear bare bones like first, that's up to you. You add whatever you want. That includes proficiencies and non-weapon proficiencies. The thing is, you remember how we talked to these people, there's some people out there who say, who run a game saying, well, if you don't have the proficiency, you can't do it. Guess what? Over on my sister podcast, Save or Die, Mike and Liz are in a game with a guy who does that. I couldn't believe it. There was actually a guy out there. They exist. And it's like,
oh, they definitely exist.
This is a word to him. He's never going to listen to the show. But hey, dude, back off. Come on. You know?
Yeah. Everybody's there to have fun. Yeah.
There's ground and reason for a GM to exercise a little bit of judgment. And yes, adamantium basket weaving with mithril inlay is probably a trained only skill.
Right. You mean I can't learn that?
Survival fire starting, you can probably take a whack at it.
Here, I'm gonna give it to you secondhand because Mike told this to me. He said what happened was they were on a boat, okay? And he wanted to. The guy says, okay, do you have seamanship? Yes. Do you have? You know where I'm going with this, okay? Do you have nautical skills? Yes. Do you have fishing? No, so you can't fish. What?
No, that's wrong.
No. That's wrong.
That's definitely wrong.
And then Mike says, I stood in the back snarking about it for the rest of the thing because one girl had fishing, and he goes, wait a minute, does that mean does she have fly fishing? Or does she have...
Spear fishing. It's not spear fishing, it's combat. I'm rolling initiative against the guppy.
I'm trying to get a crit against that tuna swimming over there.
So the cleric's standing over there with a torch, and I got a big pile of logs here in the woods, and I got a stick in my hand, but I don't know I don't have fire building. So no matter if I walk over to that torch,
they mentioned this in the proficiency descriptions in the proficiency chapters.
Yep.
That okay, you don't need the proficiency survival to make fire.
No,
you don't need fire building to make fire.
No,
you need the fire building proficiency to make fire after a week of rain in 20-degree ice-crusted friggin' wastelands with soaking wet wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
That's
Bear Grylls, Les Stroud, they have fire building in freaking spades.
Better drink my own pee.
Yeah, he did that, didn't he?
I know. Do you have the proficiency for it?
I'm not going there.
You missed your mouth. Sorry.
Hey, I had an old goblin comic told me when we get lost in the desert, we should drink our own pee and we'll be fine, man. Okay.
When I saw him gut a camel and reach into the body cavity,
we'll tell you, you have to create the filter system. First, you got to have a filter system. Then you don't know if it's going to take it.
We were talking about proficiencies, remember?
Yeah, anybody want to read it?
Yeah, we're getting off track again. It's just going to be that kind of show. Now the whole thing is just when do you do it? Now, the only time I'm going to let's just take land-based riding for example. Now, as we've already said, anyone can. It even says in the proficiency, anyone can sit astride a horse and direct that horse in a particular direction or stop it from going
left.
Go left, go right, stop, go, trot, canter, run. Easy enough, right? Now, anybody can do that. Anyone.
Right.
Now, those who want to be the Lone Ranger or Princess Ariel from Thundar the Barbarian and run up behind a horse, jump up in the air, put your hands on its withers, and vault yourself in the saddle and get going in 5 seconds, that's going to require a proficiency check.
Yeah, or perhaps do some horseback archery from hanging off the side of the horse, firing under the front of his chin.
Or that.
Or trying to jump off a runaway stagecoach onto a horse.
Basically, when anything is going to be hard, interesting, or go wrong, then you might need to make, significantly wrong, you might need to make a proficiency check. You might need to make a proficiency check if your horse happens to be headed for a big-ass cliff and don't want to stop.
Exactly.
So, okay, what does this
Aragorn, you failed your riding proficiency. You go over the side, son. Anyway.
Okay, what does this tell you? Okay, this tells you that you don't need specific proficiencies to do normal stuff.
Yeah, just regular run-of-the-mill stuff,
99% of the stuff you don't have to roll for.
Exactly.
Okay, make a dex roll to climb the wall. Good, you did it.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, Or, you're walking and chewing gum. You don't need a proficiency for that. Just do it.
Some people do, but I'm not going to say anything further.
I'm waiting for somebody to come out with non-weapon proficiency breathing.
Yep.
Well,
Walking.
some people, never mind.
Breathe.
How's that? It's called
breathe.
tantric breathing.
Now wait a minute.
What?
Stop that right there, Fawn. I know where you're going with that. Anyway,
roll dice, but
now-
when I roll
Welcome
those
to
things.
Paul Brian's Chain. I'm your host.
yeah, no kidding. Jeez, I'm getting sore over
Well,
here.
you were talking about riding land-based, and I got a totally different description in my head.
What's
You
that?
need to call
Then-
your girlfriend, Corey.
I know.
Point for me. Ding.
I am proficient. I would actually say specialized.
Specialized.
Is that a weapon proficiency? Or a...
It can be.
For some people,
It's a
it
deadly
is.
weapon.
Oh God.
Oh, so it counts as a grappling check.
Absolutely. It's a two-handed weapon that does piercing damage.
Pardon me. I'm going to die over here now.
It's a whole new meaning to the term bastard sword.
And I get initiative.
Hand and a
Anyways,
half. Anyway, moving right along. Now the thing is, as a DM, when you're using this system, sometimes, and I know I did it when I first started playing Second Edition, even though I'd had a little bit of practice with NWPs going back to First Edition with the Wilderness and Dungeoneer survival guides, respectively. It's one of those things where as you get to know the system better, you find that, hey, I don't have to make them use proficiency checks all of the time, just in certain situations.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing about being a DM. You have to understand that you don't have to be a slave to the system like Mike's DM is, apparently.
And there are two distinct ways to approach it.
Mm-hmm.
You can respond to the players inquiring, can I use proficiency X to do something related to Y?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and you should be able to adjudicate that at a fairly rapid clip.
Right.
There's also the chance for you to have a situation arise where you know someone in the party has proficiency something or other,
Right.
and it could contribute to the story. Or they might, by virtue of possessing a proficiency, pick up on something that a normal observer wouldn't, but a proficient observer could. And you would say randomly to Bob or the other, make a proficiency check. Or if you didn't want to hide it from him, do a hidden roll.
Right.
And then pass them a note.
I've done that in our game several times. As a matter of fact.
The reason I'm so adamant about this way of doing proficiency check is because I know what it came out of. And I'm kind of partly in that camp because my thing when I started playing D&D is okay, I'm an adventurer. But what did I do before that? And I still know it,
Mm-hmm.
And, secondary profession.
I'm okay.
Yeah, and so, in First Edition, they had the secondary, whatever it was, skills. The secondary profession table. That was okay, but I thought it went nowhere, and I found out why later. I read about Gary wanted to do more with it, but they cut it out of the book, basically.
Yeah. Oh, out of the First Edition?
Out of the First Edition book. So this is a Second Edition way to kind of compensate for that, but at the same time, it can be abused real easy.
Yeah, it can. By the DM or the players if they are, shall we say, enterprising.
So I like to go 1 foot in it, or maybe even a toe into it.
Mm-hmm.
Just enough to say, okay, your character used to be a farmer, but now he used to be a cattleman, now he's an adventurer, but he still knows how to raise and slaughter a cow.
Right.
That's basically my thing right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, the whole thing is that it just comes down to...
But I'm only proficient in herding cows. There ain't no way I can move that herd of antelope over there and have them overrun that goddamn goblin tribe.
Why do you think they have
by the oasis?
Why do you think they have animal handling as just a catch-all for that?
A horse trainer would know how to do it.
Absolutely. or he'd have an idea at the very least.
Here's another thought. You can approach this, something that evolved into, I'm going to reach forward now into the future and pull something out of the hat that all of this notion evolved into something called the skill challenge. It's a component of your actual encounters. It's a component of your adventures where you have not one, maybe two, perhaps even three different ways to address any given situation or problem that you have as an encounter set piece, where other skills in the party besides beating on things or blowing them up can contribute successfully to improving your encounter.
Right.
And that could be just as easily. I have animal handling. I'm going to try and herd this pack of horses. You know what? I've got this trained war dog here. I'm going to have him do friggin' dog handling things, and he's going to herd the horses for me. I've got
trained him that way.
Right. Right.
Animal handling or animal training. Either one can contribute. How you use it is up to you and your creativity and the willingness of your GM to allow for it.
Right. Makes perfect sense. And, that's the whole thing in the nutshell. That's probably the best way to create an adventure to where now there are times where the PCs just don't know how to handle a certain situation and the DM is kind of stuck, at that point. If you take a little thought while you're creating the adventure or, adapting it from another source or whatever you're doing, if you take a little bit of thought to say, okay, the PCs can handle it this way, they can handle this by force of arms, they can handle it by negotiation, they can handle it in another way entirely.
Right.
That also gives the outs to the PC so they don't end up, screwing themselves later on in the adventure or even in that particular encounter.
And you know what
I will guarantee you that 7 out of every 9 adventures where part of the adventure is written with member of the party must have X proficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And there are adventures that are written that way.
Yes, there are.
Somebody to have this. There's pre-gens are produced, and one of them is the critical guy for the adventure who's going to be the guy with the answer when they get to room 24. He's usually dead by room 19.
Yeah, then there's that.
Yeah.
What is your plan B for the non-proficient party to deal with the situation that had a single point of failure skill solution? Get creative and have, a MacGyver plan, have a get lucky plan, have the guy knows what the hell he's doing plan, something else in there to let people contribute besides, dang it, last call, gonna use magic or I'm gonna bust that wall down, yeah!
See, I would go over it. I would not have that situation in the first place. I do not like, what do they call, 0 point null encounters where you cannot go any further if you cannot do the X.
Oh, absolutely not. That's a good way to...
They crush a good adventure.
Yes, they do. Yeah, it frustrates players to no end.
I can't remember the guy on there's the blog, The Alexandrian. Mm-hmm. He came up with a 3-clue rule. He says, don't plan encounters, plan scenarios. And when you have like a situation where you have an encounter or a trap or a puzzle or what, think of 3 ways this could be circumvented.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not just, he needs this skill. No. Think of 3 other ways. If there's a clue they need to get, think of 3 ways they could get that clue.
Yep.
Right.
And it should be able to be gained by other people, not just one main person who might have a proficiency.
Well, right. That's, lowest common, I guess it's lowest common denominator at that point.
Somebody can get it through Streetwise. Somebody can get it through information gathering. Somebody can get it through heraldry. Somebody can get it through ancient history.
Somebody could get it if they have a good int roll. They make a nice int roll.
Somebody can get it through intimidation if you capture someone alive.
Mm-hmm. Right. Which is, actually, and what we're talking about, exactly. What we're talking about now will actually help with the next segment. But
see, I do like proficiencies, and I wish they would have just left it there. But one of the things that bugs me about 3rd edition is the fact that they added another component to this, which was the difficulty class. Mm-hmm. There is no point for them.
Oh, those are actually awesome. I love them.
No, I don't like them because the DM actually has to think of one. These skills here, you just say...
They don't.
You either do it or you don't. Once in a while, you're going up against something else, like say somebody's trying to do a bluff, and you're going against an NPC's characters.
Yeah, and they rely on the skill roll rather
It's a skill versus skill. It's not it's difficulty class 10. And it's like, I just pulled that out of my rear, you know.
Well, see, yeah, that's the one thing I don't particularly like about it because, it can be rather arbitrary, either being too easy or too hard, depending on.
And the DM has to sit there and decide how hard it is. This way, they got the skill, they got at a certain level, and it's like, all right, either you make it or you don't. Go.
Mm-hmm.
No,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Pick a lock going against the lock's difficulty class. Who the hell cares? What's your percentage?
Hey, they had fine locks, complex locks, master locks. Those still existed in the 2E world as well.
I understand that, but it didn't matter how complex the lock was. Well, in a few cases, like you take minuses, but at the same time, it mattered how good the guy could pick it.
That's true.
If he had enough oomph in that skill, even with the minuses, he would be able to pop it.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole thing about devoting that much to that skill.
Right. I like the way going with pluses and minuses rather than a difficulty class.
Well, yeah. Well, that's one of the things about.
It's really transparent. It's just the way an individual game master views the numbers. The number crunch is the same either way. You're either going to approach it from a target, or you're going to approach it from modifiers.
But it
does get you the same result either way.
It's an easier number crunch just doing the pluses and minuses, though. That's what.
That's the thing about 3rd edition that actually was a little bit appealing. It's just I just have a. I
gotta start a blog, The Lazy DM. I think. Or something.
Yeah. Well,
call it the hand waiver.
I don't know. That could be no, I don't want to. That's too suggestive right there.
I have no idea how much fun I could have with that.
Anyway, why don't you tell us about how you use proficiency checks, folks? THACOshammer@gmail.com. Let's move on to DM's Rag.
Well, that's quite a story.
I think it would be fun to run a newspaper.
And here it comes, right over the old plate.
The DM's Rag.
DM's Rag, Dungeon Magazine number 62, Dragon's Delve.
Yep.
By who?
And if you give me a moment, because I was reading it as we were discussing our previous segment, that was by...
THACO's Hammer, the research capital of Wild Games Production. Yeah.
Well, I wasn't ready. I apologize. We do every once in a while, yes, we do trip over our own feet on this. Let's see.
I'm going to say there's involved a dragon.
I thought we were bypassing this.
Yeah, that too.
Oh.
Triple bypassing.
But hey, that's okay. There's a dragon. There's a delve involved. We're going to go.
All right, I'm down.
Adventuring parties.
Okay.
I'd love to see a magazine.
Dragon side. We're only 3rd level. We're good.
One-page dungeon, Dragon's Delve. There's a dragon. He has a delve and a treasure. You have to kill him. End of adventure.
This sounds like a unique and fairly new adventure. I've never heard of this type of adventure. I want to go on it.
Okay. Well, then we go.
I'm excited.
Shall we start it? Shall we start it again?
Why?
I don't even have it up.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got it up.
I don't know about that. But anyway, no, we don't need to start. Go ahead. Talk.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to, but, people keep saying stuff. Anyway, Dragon's Delve is by Christopher Perkins, who... at this point, I think he was like one of the more prolific writers for Dungeon Magazine. As a matter of fact, several of his adventures made it into a what do they call it? An adventure.
Best ofs.
Yeah. They did a couple of those towards the end of 2nd edition where they took Dungeon Magazine adventures and actually published them.
Yeah, they did a couple of best ofs. I remember those.
Mm-hmm. So. This one is this adventure is quite interesting because he's basically using the map in a basic adventure, or at least he's using names in it and everything like that, but he's using basically Thunderdelve Mountain, the X solo adventure, I was wondering why the map looked so familiar. Then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I know this one because I traced this one myself. What it is that the players are trying to find out. They have this whole history about crystal dragons and how the crystal dragon offspring found some dwarves and was playing pranks on them, like throwing snowballs at them and everything like that.
They hate that.
Yeah, I know. And they got to talking, and they're trying to find. They're trying to basically find a certain mine and things like that, which is called Thunderdelve. And I was like, wait a minute, this name is familiar. Then I'm like, oh, I know this place.
Okay.
What is it?
Like I said, it's the Module XS2 Thunderdelve Mountain, the one where you have to actually use the invisible ink.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, not the first one. That's Maze the Riddling Minotaur, which is one of my all-time favorites.
Isn't it the solo one where you use the little red thing to read the invisible script?
No, this is the one where you actually had an invisible ink pen and you had...
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking the other one with the wizard on the cover where you had a little red plastic thing.
Right.
That let you see the
I had one of those red plastic things, but it was for Marvel Superheroes solo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thunder over Jotunheim. Anybody remember that one?
I've heard of it.
It started. You played Thor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember that.
So
little thing. Yeah. Anyway, no. So some guy took it. Okay, let's rewrite this as a normal adventure.
Yeah, pretty much. Even though I've taken Thunderdelve Mountain and it's a campaign adventure in my game, which you guys may or may not actually.
I may change it to Thunder Bucket Mountain. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only problem I had with this. So you guys are. I mean, the party gets involved by being in a dwarven kingdom, and they're acting as ambassadors or whatever they're doing, but they meet someone called Galvin Ironstar, and he suspects that someone's involved with a crystal dragon, in a scheme with a crystal dragon, and they're trying to find the parents of that dragon are trying to find this one, try to find Glitter Shard, and of course that's where the PCs come in. It's like, hey, go find these.
This strikes me as an 80s cartoon series set of names and adventures. This screams Silverhawks to me. This screams
the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah.
The Galaxy Rangers, they would have villains and heroes and NPCs with those names.
Yeah.
Gooseman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
But
Goose was the heat, man.
Yeah, it was.
One of the things that you get when the person who hires you, if you decide to take that adventure, he gives the party a horn of blasting and tells them to use it sparingly and only as a last resort.
In other words, it has 3 charges. Got
it. Something like that. Yeah. I mean, not to mention that whole dwarf thing about magic items having a chance of malfunctioning when they try to use them. That comes into play. So, yeah, it could explode and inflict 5 to 10 points of damage on the person sounding
it. The blasting does that anyway, whether you're a dwarf or not.
No?
Yes.
Really? No, when a dwarf uses it, see, there's a 10% chance, but then there's also a 20% chance for if a dwarf uses it. Because it's not armor or weapons, and random magic items just may not work correctly. Or work at all. But anyway, as I'm reading through the intro of this, he basically took that adventure, Thunderdelve Mountain, and just completely rewrote it, which is kind of weird.
Okay.
But, I mean, that's just kind of messed with me a little bit. But anyway, as you get to...
Do you have any idea how many times I have seen the Isle of Dread map in TSR products over the last 23 years?
You have a point. You definitely have a point. Now, the thing is that when you get to the Thunderdelve, which is the name of the stronghold, once you get there, Now, the party has an issue, especially if there are dwarves in the party, because most of these dwarves have been charmed. The big bad at the end of this thing is not only a monster called a Baldandar, which I've hardly ever seen used. No, not only that, there's a gibbering mouther, too.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the gibbering mouther is a very, 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 very nasty monster.
And
yes?
You're telling us to restrain ourselves for the sake of iTunes, but you just said we had a Baldander and a gibbering mouther together in an adventure.
Oh, God. Oh,
only you would think of that.
Someone.
Well, me, but I wouldn't say.
On a Xanax, please. We need him calm.
Yeah.
Anyway, they also deal with just like the original module, dwarven runes and whether or not players can read them. Of course, if they're dwarves, second edition, there's a dwarven runes proficiency. Now, see, going back to the previous one, this is one of those proficiencies. If you don't have it, you can't read this. you will make huge mistakes. But anyway,
I have had so much fun crafting handcrafted props to hand to party members that are dwarven rune maps.
Yep.
That I have a replica map of with it spelled out in common, and another replica map of it spelled out with "you screwed up your translation."
Awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Okay, but as I said, there are dwarves guarding this place, when you originally breach it, and there are murder holes as well. Hold on. I thought you'd appreciate that. And of course they're shooting crossbows at your party, and that can be an issue in and of itself. But,
I always appreciate that.
Yeah, well, that would be a bit of an issue, wouldn't it? Now, as I was saying, the issue is that these dwarves aren't evil. They're just charmed. Glittershard has charmed several dwarves in this area, and of course, the party, they just might just draw down and just mow through them like a scythe through wheat, or they might actually try to knock them out and capture them, or just incapacitate them in some way.
The moral question.
They're dwarves that fell victim to mind-afflicting magic. They're obviously not worth their beards. Slay them. Shave them and send them out into the world to be the gnomes they know they are in their hearts.
Send them before Moradin for them to be judged. And of course, Moradin will judge them harshly because they allowed themselves to be charmed.
Oy.
Anyway, you will find, every once in a while, you will find allies through this adventure who can help you. And that will help. That will be a good thing, considering that as you delve deeper into this place, you start running into nastier and nastier monsters like iron living statues, slithering trackers, which is actually your.
I'm having a flashback here.
Of? Dare I ask?
Oh, take your pick. Dragon Mountain, Night Below. We can go all the way back to one of the basic modules, the one in the desert.
Lost City.
Lost City. Let's just go down, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and we just keep fighting.
Glenn, that's Dungeoneering 101. It always gets worse the deeper you go.
I know, but it's just like we've done all these. It sounds like Night Below Light.
I wouldn't go that far, but it's one of those where, it just wouldn't help all that much if you just mowed down these dwarves who just got, who just got charmed. It wouldn't help, or got their, as you find out, there's one of your main opponents has an amulet that actually drains intelligence from other people, from their targets. So you got some choices to make, and that's not a bad thing, so to speak.
All right.
But I get where you're coming from. To me, I use those kind of adventures sparingly because I find that having to subject players to constant morality choices tend to either bore them to tears or wear them out, and in some cases both.
Well, constantly grinding isn't good either.
Well, that's true. You got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
that's my motto.
Yeah.
You have to break up the peril. No, it's far too perilous. Gotta go.
That's right. The peril in the dungeon must be broken up with peril in the tavern, and then peril walking down the street. And then a small rest before peril on the road to more peril.
I like the peril in the fest. I like the peril in the fest hall.
Yes.
Oh no, that's a really bad peril. Go to the cleric and get a cure disease after that. Anyway,
we go to the docks and get rid of the. Well, anyway.
But as I was saying, by the way, Corey, that might be the reason why your players don't want to tackle Raven's Hold anymore.
Oh, they have perfect time in the town, but, instead of investigating the undead spirit that they brought over with the wagon, when I gave them clues like, a burned-out, charred section of a handprint on the side of the wagon, and then all of a sudden children started dying, they didn't go, let's investigate this. They're like, let's go back for more treasure! Dun, dun, dun! And they come back. There's children dead. Whose fault's that? They could have rested in town after killing the spirit and been like, hey, it's like an episode of
Brian, or Corey. A burned hand mark on a wagon sounds just like graffiti to me. It doesn't sound like a clue to, by the way, your wagon is haunted.
They originally saw one of the creatures who tried to come at them put his hand on a door that they were closing, and they saw the wood begin to rot in the shape of a hand from the other side as the touch from the undead spirit literally killed the wood and turned it to charred dust. They could literally poke their finger through like you poking your finger into a burned-out fire. So literally they see the same handprint on the side of the wagon. They all knew it. Even when the guy that went and got the wagon goes, hey, was that handprint here before? I said, no. He's like, is it all poked out? I'm like, no, it looks kind of fresh. He's like, oh, okay, I'll get everybody and get on the wagon and pick up the treasure, and then we're going to go back to town. I'm like...
That still indicates to me that, one of them touched the wagon. Big deal. That doesn't mean that he possessed the wagon, crawled in the wagon, is part of the wagon, or is traveling along with them on or by the wagon.
I regret even bringing this up. I think it's safe to say that the players didn't get the hints that Corey was laying down, and that's why they had so many problems. Getting back to our
Dragon's Delve.
Yes, Dragon's Delve. Thank you. Your main bad, actually, one of your main bads in the end is actually a trio of Darrow. One is a savant, and not only that, a Darrow savant. Yeah.
Bionic dwarves?
Yeah, well...
I'm like, what's a savant? I'm like...
A savant, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'm tired. My English is not so good. Not only that, but in a little bit of genius by the creator, he actually was able to use the monster, the Hupt Zine, in a very interesting way.
Interesting.
Yeah, the Hupt Zine, can cast spells and things like that. It's actually really cool. But in other words, your Darrow Savant is casting arcane magic at the party through its staff. Yeah, it's awesome.
I get to use the staff slow on the driveway on Sundays.
Say what?
I get to use the staff slow on the driveway on Sundays. You said he was a savant.
Oh, I wish I hadn't said that. Anyway, so it's actually a really good adventure.
Wow.
It's an interesting adventure, and there's the hammer. Oh, yeah, this is almost complete and total rewrite of Thunderdelve Mountain. Because they even use the same MacGuffin that the party needs to get at the end of it.
Did this guy get paid for doing this?
I'm wondering how he got away with this. I'm being completely honest when I say that, because isn't that a little bit of, even though TSR owns it, isn't that a little bit of infringement against the guy who originally wrote the adventure?
Of course, I could always say if Gary was still there, he'd have cut.
Oh, do you have to say that?
Somebody had to.
No one had to say it.
But he would have caught it.
Yeah.
It'd be back in the days when rights were sold lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels, so all they need to do is polish it off, throw a rewrite on it, match 25% change, and you have just passed the threshold for plagiarism. Go ahead and produce a new-ish thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Again,
Okay.
the repeating map.
That's how a lot of romance novels. That's how a lot of romance novels in the later Three Stooges shorts got made. And I sucked the air out of the room again.
No, I'm like, it took me a minute because I'm like, what? Can you explain that a little bit?
I'll explain it off air.
Okay, fair enough. So as you're going through the adventure, of course, you even have to deal with an Abalin. Aballin, or Abalin, or however you pronounce it.
Oh,
they're fun.
Abalin, however you pronounce it.
Wow, he's really like combing the monsters.
Yeah, he's taken this adventure and just added just this, that, and the other thing, and of course at the end you find Glitter Shard, who's the young little mischievous crystal dragon who has basically caused a lot of the problems going on about there in this area, because he's charmed a whole bunch of dwarves, and he didn't know that he's causing a whole bunch of other issues. Now, of course, the problem is that now once you find the dragon,
cause them dwarves.
What's that?
He's going to love them and hug them and squeeze them and call them dwarves.
Call them dwarves. Oh God! Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? But anyway, so once you find them, then of course the parents come flying in, and there's a little bit of parental, shall I say, role playing going on. And
right.
sure enough, everything is fine. At the end.
Is this like a Squire of Gothos ending?
What do you mean?
Well,
yes.
Oh yes, that's exactly what it. Thank you for that reference. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
You've been a bad boy.
Yep.
In other words, you're a lowercase q. We know that.
I don't know about that, Squire.
They actually did reference that in the Q Squared novel, or one of the Q novels.
Yes, they certainly did.
With Q crying to Picard, take him away, and Picard just smiles.
Yep. I was going to reference that. I didn't know that you guys had read that. Cool. But even though at the end you get your rewards, and the good thing is that the Masons will actually carve statues of them. Of course, you have to spend 4 months in the town while they get your likenesses correct.
I'm sure they have enough ale.
Yeah. If there's one thing dwarves are good for, it's a lot of ale.
I don't know about that, but I think they import gnomes to do it for them.
Yeah. Halflings, never mind. I'm not going to say
Okay, my next dwarf, German accent's going to be a brewmeister.
Okay. Brewing NWP, double specialized? Sure.
Why
Go
not?
for it.
But anyway, this sounds... what?
Go ahead. Can I have a dwarven monk who is a drunken brewmaster?
Oh, God.
Oh. Anyway, it sounds like a real fun, even though it's a rewrite.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, I'm glad he rewrote it, because I hate solo modules.
You know what? The first two TSR were not that bad. Maze of the Ridley Minotaur is probably the best one they ever did, and that's just my personal opinion. I mean, to the point where I use that in my own campaigns, and it's actually a rather but the problem is that, it's an extended dungeon crawl, and, players tend to get a little bored.
Right. Yeah.
Especially when they've given their word to fix the issues that are, that this dungeon is a part of, shall I say?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But anyway,
and besides, with solo adventures, they're either going to come in one or two flavors. They're either going to be something for zero and low level nothings to go off alone in and should have not really gone alone in and died, or is just so easy that if no one else considers it worth doing anything about, because if they approach it in a group, it just like vaporizes before their combined wrath. Or it's for higher level adventurers who feel so badass they can solo things, which is pretty easy to convert to a group adventure just by bringing in lower level characters. Then you can just deal with the thing that the guy could solo as a group. Done and done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, how would you rate this? 5 stars.
I would give it, I was going to give it, when I was first reading it, I was going to give it probably about give it about 3.5. But considering that it's taken from another source, the runes, the map, most of other things that I didn't get until I was maybe 2/3 the way through it, I'm going to knock it down to a 3. It's like, if you're going to do something like this, draw your own maps, dude.
Well,
I don't know what you were thinking.
Maps aside, I'm going to give it a 4 because, it's a rewrite, but then again, like, Mike claims Lost City is a rewrite of a Conan novel, so.
I don't agree with that at all.
But,
wait,
anyway,
what did you just say?
I said Mike over on Save or Die says the Lost City module is a rewrite of a Conan novel, or a gaming adaptation of a Conan novel.
And I disagree completely.
with the numbers filed off.
Yeah, I can see where the similarities drawn. I know exactly what he's talking about, and I think I know which Conan novel. But anyways.
Oh yeah. Now I think about it.
So I'll give it a 4. What about you guys?
I could go with the solid 3 just for the benefit of a rewrite often can turn things into a better product, just like the 19 times you've ever seen B1 rewritten. You actually start getting some meat and crunch and answer, or B2, excuse me. Yeah. You take B2 and you rewrite it, and by the time it gets to the Hackmaster version of B2, you have backstory, character, thrills, betrayal, adventure, MacGuffins, all the things that make it meaty and crunchy and interesting.
Okay.
So all that's there.
Yeah.
How about you, Cor?
I'm going to go with a 3. There's some good points into this that you can pull apart and you can use in other campaigns. As I always say, some of the best campaigns and adventures and modules you find are ones that you may not have to use completely. You can just tear it apart and use parts you like. I'm not too keen on the names, but as far as a rewrite, it can either go good or it can either go bad. And this, I don't mind it, but again, I'll give it a 3.
Okay. Cool. So, pretty good, mate. So, check it out. It's dungeon number 62.
Yep.
I would say go to Internet Archive, but I understand they're taking all those off. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Then hurry up.
Yeah. But if you could find it out there for sale, grab it. Number 62, Dragon's Delve. Well, anyway, that's a close another Splat book. So I guess it's time to shove off. You shove off. Anyway, say goodbye. You say goodbye, Fawn.
Goodbye, Gamer Nation. We will see you again when the hammer comes down.
Boy. Okay, Brian.
All I can say is we've completely run out of short jokes.
Thank goodness.
And I'm glad.
Thank you. Let's say goodbye.
I'll bet you I can undercut that comment.
Oh!
Ouch. Say goodbye, Corey.
Remember, dwarves don't use ice in their beer. They freeze rocks in the snow and then put water down the beer.
They freeze their rocks in the snow and they... Oh, my goodness.
No.
Yeah, you never put granite rocks that they have ice cubes that are granite now. You put them in the freezer. That way you don't water down your mixed drink. The stones actually keep your drink cold without watering them down.
And why do you think that the Crystal Dragon was so enamored of the dwarves? He's called Crystal Grin for a reason. He thought it was a first date.
Nice.
Wow. And I'm DM Glenn saying if you got the stones, I'll see you next time. When the hammer comes down on THACO's hammer. Bye-bye.
Throw them bones. Hey, we totally have to
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at THACO'sHammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at THACO'sHammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.